Hello students, today we are going to discuss about operations on arrays. There are 6 operations involved with arrays. One is traversing, deletion, insertion, searching an element from an array, merging an array. Merging in a sense we need to combine two arrays, and sorting either in ascending order or descending order. So in that we have the first operation is traversing. So traversing is nothing but we either display the elements or list all the elements of an array, or we can access the elements or to access the elements in order to perform some action. So as a first example, we'll see how to display the elements of an array. So in order to display the elements, we have taken an integer array a of size 5, and I have initialized it with 5 values. And in order to access the elements of an array, we need a loop. So to use a variable in the for loop, I have taken a variable I. So now for I equal to 0, that is because the index of an array starts from 0, so I'm starting my loop from 0, and I less than n. So since we have an index range from 0 to n minus 1, so from 0 to n minus 1 index range we have, so I am taking the condition as I less than n, and each index will be incrementing plus 1, so I have taken I plus plus. So next, as we want to display all the elements, we need to write in order to display the element of an array, we need to write a printf statement. So printf, each element of an array will be printed here using the loop. So in the initial iteration, when I equal to 0, it comes into the loop. So 0 is less than 5, so comes inside the loop. It prints a of 0, that is 10. Again I equal to 1 less than n, condition true, comes into the for loop and prints the next value 20. Likewise, when I is equal to 4 less than n, it comes and prints a of 4, that is 50. And after that it becomes I equal to 5, and 5 less than n is false, and the loop is broken out. So likewise we can display all the elements of an array. And as I say, next we'll see one more example, that is to print the smallest element that is present in an array. Say for example, a of 5 is equal to some 100, 18, 125, 109 and 12. So let us think that we have an array of 5 elements consisting of the elements like this, and now we need to find out the smallest element out of these elements. So let us take a variable called small, let it be small. So in order to store the smallest element, now when we want to find the smallest element from all the set of elements, first of all what we will do is we'll compare the elements with each other. So out of all the elements, which one will be the smallest, we will be taking out. So here in this case we'll consider, we will consider the small element as the first element of an array, so that is a of 0. So with this element we'll be comparing all the elements. So now 100 will be compared to 18. So if this small is larger than the element in the array we are comparing, then this element is copied to the small variable. That is, now we have an array and small consists of, let us think this is the variable small, and we have stored 100 in it, and this is the array 100, 18, 125, 109, and then 12. So these are the elements we have. Now we'll compare this 100 with the element in the array. So 100 is equal to 100. So both are same. So we need to do nothing. We don't need to do anything. Okay. Then go to next index, a of 1. So small is greater than a of 1. So if small is greater than a of 1, let it be I. So whatever the index is, if the element in the variable is greater than the element in the array, which means that there is some other element which is smaller than the value stored in the variable small. So when you found the value smaller than the value in this variable, you need to assign that variable inside the small, that is small is equal to a of 1 here. Okay, now small will consist of 18. So now this 18 will be compared to the next element, next index, that is 125. So 18 is less than 125, condition false. Again go to next index. So 18 less than 109, condition. Go to next index. Now it is 12. So 18 is greater than 12. Now the condition is true. So you will assign this 12. So assign this index for a of 4 to small. So finally you will have the element 12 in your variable. So out of all the elements, when we reach the end of the array, then we stop searching, then we stop the comparison. So likewise we will find out the smallest element. So here let us see the code. So in order to compare each element, we again we need to access that element. So in order to access all the elements, we need the for loop again. So for I is equal to, here you can take either 0 or 1, because already I have taken the element at a of 0. At 0, index 0, I have already taken the element. So you can continue comparing the elements from the index 1. So I am taking here for I equal to 1, I less than n. So here n is in the sense 5, as the size of the array is 5. So I less than 5, I plus plus. So what we have to do is, we have to compare the element in the small with the remaining elements. So if comparison, in the sense we use if condition. So if small is greater than a of I, then if this is smaller, this is greater value and this is smaller value, array contains smallest value, then we have to assign this array value into small. So if this condition is true, then small is equal to a of I. So finally, when we reach the end of this loop, the variable small will contain the smallest element present in the given elements of an array. So in order to print the smallest element, you need to write a printf statement. Smallest value is %d. So we have that smallest value in the variable small. So that is about finding the smallest element. So in the same way, you can find out the greatest element, the largest element in an array. So for that, you simply can change a symbol here. So if the small value is less than the a of I element value, then you can assign that greatest value into the variable, so that finally this variable will have the largest value. So likewise, you can find out the smallest and largest elements of an array.